Signing of a historic peace agreement between the Democratic Republic of the Congo and the Republic of Rwanda.
I'm honored all of you are here today. I'm honored to be joined by my counterparts from the Democratic Republic of Congo and from Rwanda.
But President Trump also said something that raised a lot of eyebrows in Kinshasa, across the region, and on the continent.
We're getting for the United States a lot of the mineral rights from the Congo as part of it. They're so.
It was Rwanda. It was Kigali. It was Kagame. The support he gave to M23. Rwanda was prepared to take immigrants from London at the exchange of money. They are the ones who are working with imperialist forces to want to undermine DRC. We're not saying the government of DRC is perfect, but it cannot be undermined the way the guy is doing.
Welcome to Afriscope TV, where we bring you the truth they don't want you to know. Before we dive in, make sure to like, hit that subscribe button, then turn on the notification bell so you never miss the truth. Donald Trump says he deserves a Nobel Peace Prize. Why? Because he claims to have brokered peace between Congo and Rwanda. But behind the handshake, there's a signature. The real question is, what did Africa actually sign, and who does it benefit?
But President Trump also said something that raised a lot of eyebrows in Kinshasa, across the region, and on the continent.
We're getting for the United States a lot of the mineral rights from the Congo as part of it. They're so honored to be here. They never thought they'd be coming to. Look, this is a very tough part of the world. They never thought, they were just telling me, they never thought they'd ever be coming to the White House, and they're so honored.
The Democratic Republic of Congo has the world's largest reserves of cobalt, which powers everything from mobile phones to electric cars. And the question here is, how did the DRC put those minerals as part of this agreement? It didn't come up in the official signing that was led by Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, and the two foreign ministers, but suddenly the text will be scrutinized to see exactly what they gave up there. There's a lot of criticism of Western countries aiming and vying for African minerals, and this suddenly fits that description that's often criticized here. Whether this deal does work still remains to be seen, and the question of how was this signed in Washington, not in an African capital? Previous mediation efforts here in Nairobi and in the Angolan capital Luanda did not bear fruit.
We're here today to celebrate a glorious triumph, and that's what it is, for the cause of peace. And this is a long time waiting. The signing of a historic peace agreement between the Democratic Republic of the Congo and the Republic of Rwanda. The conflict has continued, and it's been going on for many, many years. It's been going from, I guess they say 30 years, the Great Lakes region of Africa for a long time, and maybe even a time before that. How is the Great Lakes region? Must be beautiful, right? Beautiful, beautiful region, but they had a lot of war, right? A lot of fighting, a lot of death. It's displaced countless people and claimed the lives of thousands and thousands. But today, the violence and destruction comes to an end, and the entire region begins a new chapter of hope and opportunity, harmony, prosperity, and peace. That's been a long time waiting. I said, how long has the war been going? And a friend of mine who's very much involved said 30 years, and at least 6 million people were killed during that period of time. It's incredible. And somebody said that was actually, it's the biggest war on the planet since World War II. So it's a shame, but we're going to bring it to an end.
When peace finally comes to the Democratic Republic of the Congo, he's thinking to nominate you as a Nobel Prize Peace, because he said you deserve, you have been working to bring peace in the world, not only at the Congo, and he's very hopeful to meet you in the future.
That's so nice.
They know your name. They know that a president named President Trump is working hard to finally bring peace to the country. I saw hope. They have hope now for a better day in Congo. They see what you're doing as a future, better future for Congo. And I had opportunity to sit down with President Felix Tshisekedi for an interview because I want to understand his mind, what he's thinking, his feeling about everything that your administration is doing. And he told me firsthand that for many years, many American presidents overlooked this conflict. They didn't do nothing. Even myself, I cover President Biden's administration. I pressed many times about this conflict. People are dying in Congo. This country has so much potential, but they need help because this war is destroying the country.
Right.
They never gave me any answer.
This deal doesn't just promise peace. It opens the gates to Congo's critical minerals, cobalt, lithium, copper, essential to the global tech industry. Trump's team called it a win-win. But for whom? Africa gets peace. The West gets minerals, contracts, and control. Meanwhile, Rwandan-backed M23 rebels still hold territory. Thousands are dead or displaced. Foreign troops remain. So what kind of a peace deal skips disarmament but fast-tracks business deals? Some African analysts call it mining diplomacy dressed as peacemaking.
This is Goma, a city in eastern Congo. On paper, it's part of the Democratic Republic of Congo, but in reality, it's being run by rebels. And I'm not talking about some ragtag militia, an organized force called the M23. They have created a parallel government right under the state's nose. To understand why this is happening, you need to understand eastern Congo. This region is insanely rich. Gold, coltan, tin, tungsten, cobalt, literally the minerals powering your smartphone, but it's also a war zone. Over 100 armed groups fighting for land, power, and profit. And one of the most powerful among them is M23. The M23 or March 23 movement was born in 2012. It's made up mostly of Tutsi fighters who say the Congolese government failed to implement a peace agreement signed on March 23, 2009. They briefly took over Goma in 2012. But regional armies, especially the UN-backed Congolese forces, pushed them out in 2013. Everyone thought that was the end, but in late 2021, they re-emerged stronger than ever. And here's where it gets geopolitical. The UN and multiple reports say Rwanda is secretly backing M23 with weapons, intelligence, and even troops. Why? Because Rwanda claims it's protecting ethnic Tutsis in Congo and also wants control over Congo's mineral-rich territories. That part they won't admit out loud. And that's why Rwanda denies everything. But the evidence, satellite images, captured weapons, eyewitness testimonies, it keeps stacking up. Fast forward to today, M23 controls major towns and roads outside Goma. They've created a shadow state, collecting taxes, appointing leaders, even issuing orders. Meanwhile, the Congolese army is barely holding the front lines. The central government in Kinshasa is hundreds of miles away and mostly powerless here. And the result of all this is nearly 7 million Congolese now displaced, the highest number in Africa. Civilians are caught between M23 rebels and government airstrikes. Villages burned, aid blocked, children recruited. It's now a full-scale humanitarian disaster, but no help seems to be forthcoming. What is happening right now in Goma isn't just some faraway rebel conflict. It's about resources, power, and regional rivalries. It's the modern scramble for Congo, just like colonial times, but with drones and mineral contracts. And for the people of Goma, it has become their daily life. I just wonder when there will be peace again.
Malema has boldly accused President Kagame of accepting UK funds under the Migration and Economic Development Partnership, MEDP, despite no migrants being deported under the scheme. The UK paid Rwanda a staggering £240 million by the end of 2023. According to Malema, this money is being used to destabilize Congo, enabling imperial powers to loot the country's valuable minerals with no resistance. His powerful words. They are paying Kagame to destabilize Congo, so the imperialists can seize the minerals freely. These are bold accusations, but many believe they reveal a long-standing truth.
It was Rwanda. It was Kigali, it was Kagame. The support he gave to M23. Rwanda was prepared to take immigrants from London at the exchange of money. They are the ones who are working with imperialist forces to want to undermine DRC. We are not saying the government of DRC is perfect, but it cannot be undermined the way the guy is doing.
And US President Trump boasting of securing mineral wealth. The agreement marks a breakthrough in talks held by Trump administration Trump hailed Rwanda and Congo's foreign ministers at the Oval Office after signing of a peace deal that would put an end to the 30-year-old conflict between the two countries.
I want to express my gratitude and congratulations to the representatives of the Democratic Republic of the Congo and the Republic of Rwanda, who signed this pivotal agreement a short time ago. They just signed right in front. And let me also thank Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who has worked very hard on this subject, and we've worked on it together, for his outstanding leadership, as well as Senior Advisor for African and Africa Affairs, Masad Boulos.
The agreement comes after the M23, an ethnic Tutsi rebel force linked to Rwanda, sprinted across the mineral-rich east of the DRC earlier this year, seizing vast territory, including the key city of Goma. The deal, negotiated through Qatar since before Trump took office, does not explicitly address the gains of the M23 in the area torn by decades of on-off war, but calls for Rwanda to end the defensive measures it has taken. Rwanda has denied directly supporting the M23, but has demanded an end to another armed group, the Democratic Forces for the Liberation of Rwanda, the FDLR, which was established by ethnic Hutus linked to the massacres of Tutsis in the 1994 Rwanda genocide. The agreement also sets up a joint security coordination body to monitor progress and calls vaguely for a regional economic integration framework within 3 months.
I think there are so many perspectives that we can transform our partnerships through, and that can usher in an era of prosperity, of growth, and of shared bilateral relationships that go well beyond the challenges that we've shared together, and that can at least, or finally, focus on the potential and of the wealth that we can share.
For this economic integration framework to be implemented, it's important for the U.S. to accompany the parties to implement what we have signed, because in the past we have signed so many agreements that were not implemented.
The deal aims to attract billions of dollars of Western investment to a region rich in tantalum, gold, cobalt, copper, lithium, and other minerals. Trump has trumpeted the diplomacy that led to the deal, saying the United States will be able to secure a lot of minerals from Congo.
Although Russia called for dialogue in January 2025 to end the violence in the DRC, stressing the need for immediate peace talks among all parties, there's no indication that Russia was directly involved in the recent peace negotiations or has commented on the terms of the new agreement. Given Russia's historical ties with the DRC, Moscow may soon assess how this peace deal impacts its interests in the region. Trump wants credit for a peace. But is this peace or packaged plunder? What about the thousands still displaced? What about Congolese sovereignty? This isn't just a regional issue. It's a continental question. Can Africa ever control its resources while foreign deals are signed behind closed doors? This is Afriscope TV, where truth reigns and propaganda falls. Like if you believe Africa deserves full control over its land, resources, and leadership. Subscribe now to stay ahead of the narrative. Comment below. Does Trump deserve a Nobel Peace Prize, or did Africa just get played? Support Afriscope's mission by hitting super thanks and helping us amplify African voices. Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed in this video are for educational and informational purposes only. Afriscope TV does not promote hate, violence, or misinformation. All content is based on publicly available information, historical context, and independent analysis. Viewers are encouraged to do their own research and form their own conclusions. This video is not intended to target any individual, group, or government, but to explore geopolitical dynamics and their impact on Africa and the Global South. Afriscope TV stands for truth, dialogue, and the right of all people to question power peacefully.